Join me as I dive deep into the life of Hajjaj bin Yusuf and try to uncover what made him such a controversial figure in history. Did you know that Hajjaj bin Yusuf was one of the most controversial figures in Islamic history, known for his ruthless governance and significant impact on the Umayyad Caliphate? Introduce Hajjaj bin Yusuf as a prominent historical figure, explaining his role and importance during the Umayyad period. A man of contradictions, a hafiz of the Quran, who recited 10 surahs in one rak'ah of tahajjud, led prayers and avoided alcohol and immorality. Yet he was infamous for his cruelty, a tyrant whose name still echoes through history. But how does a man who revered the Quran become one of the most feared oppressors of his time? The answer lies in his tale of power, arrogance, and a chilling end that became a lesson for all.
He was a leader admired and feared, a man whose name echoed across the vast Islamic empire, a figure as divisive as he was influential. This is the story of Hajjaj bin Yusuf, a man of contrasts, whose life and legacy continue to fascinate and provoke debate. Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. His name echoes through history as one of the most oppressive governors of the Umayyad Caliphate. Appointed as the governor of Iraq by the Caliph Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan, his reign was marked by tyranny, bloodshed, and a blatant disregard for the sacred limits set by Allah. Historians and biographers are unanimous in their judgment. Al-Hajjaj was a ruthless oppressor, quick to spill blood unlawfully. No one was safe from his wrath. His actions demonstrated a shocking level of disrespect toward the early generations of Muslims, the Sahaba and Tabi'een. Despite the Prophet's instructions to honor and respect scholars and people of virtue, Al-Hajjaj did the opposite. He showed no kindness, no respect, even to those who carried the wisdom and legacy of the companions. Al-Hajjaj's hatred extended to the family of the Prophet. He was a vile Nasibi, filled with contempt for Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with him, and his descendants, a stark contrast to the love and respect that is due to them. Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi, remembered not for building a legacy of righteousness, but for his unparalleled cruelty and transgression against the principles of Islam.
Born in 661 CE in Taif, Hajjaj bin Yusuf grew up in a modest family with deep roots in the Quraysh tribe. His father, Yusuf, was a school teacher, and it was under his tutelage that Hajjaj developed a profound love for language and the Quran. Illustrations show young Hajjaj reading and engaging in debates with scholars. This early education instilled in him a sharp intellect and a command of rhetoric that would later serve him well. But beyond books, the young Hajjaj was said to possess an unyielding determination and an unshakable sense of purpose. To some, Hajjaj was a visionary leader who brought stability to a fractured empire. To others, he was a ruthless tyrant who ruled through fear. One of his most infamous acts was his suppression of the rebellion in Mecca. In 692 CE, Hajjaj laid siege to the holy city, disregarding the sanctity of its walls. Yet it was this same unflinching resolve that earned him respect as a leader who tolerated no disorder. Historian. Hajjaj was a paradox. His administrative reforms were groundbreaking, but his methods, such as the mass executions of dissenters, cemented his reputation as one of the most feared governors in Islamic history. Despite his public persona, Hajjaj's private life reveals a different side. He married several times, with his most notable wife being al-Hajjaj, who shared his ambition and intellect. His marriages, however, were often tumultuous. Records suggest he divorced his first wife because she criticized his table manners, a reflection of his uncompromising nature. As a father, he was said to be affectionate, though his political responsibilities often took precedence over his family life. Hajjaj's rise to power began under the patronage of Caliph Abd al-Malik. Recognizing his potential, the Caliph appointed him governor of Iraq, a region notorious for its unrest. His speech to the people of Kufa remains legendary. "I see heads that will roll like ripe dates." This declaration marked the beginning of a reign characterized by both fear and efficiency. Through strategic alliances and military victories, Hajjaj extended the caliphate's borders, solidifying his position as one of the most powerful men of his time. Hajjaj's legacy is as complex as the man himself. He implemented sweeping reforms, including standardizing the Arabic script of the Quran, a contribution that endures to this day. Yet his reputation for cruelty overshadowed these achievements. It is said he ordered the deaths of over 100,000 people during his governorship. Scholar: to understand Hajjaj, one must see him as both a product and a shaper of his time. His methods were brutal, but they were effective in maintaining order during an era of chaos. In 714 CE, after years of service, Hajjaj fell ill. Meet Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, a Quran-reciting tyrant whose chilling death became a lesson for all. Yet he was infamous for his cruelty, a tyrant whose name still echoes through history. But how does a man who revered the Quran become one of the most feared oppressors of his time? The answer lies in his tale of power, arrogance, and a chilling end that became a lesson for all. But the story doesn't end there. Hajjaj's life took a dark turn after this heinous act. He was haunted by Saeed in his dreams, tormented by his words, "O enemy of Allah, why did you kill me?" His health deteriorated. He contracted a strange illness where even fire could not warm him. Doctors were baffled, declaring his disease to be divine punishment. As Hajjaj's condition worsened, he called for Hazrat Hassan Basri, begging for prayers. Hassan wept and said, "I warned you against oppressing Allah's servants, but you didn't listen." 40 days after Saeed's death, Hajjaj died a humiliating death. His body was consumed by disease, his grave marked by his own fear of retribution, even after death. Hajjaj ibn Yusuf's story reminds us, Allah stretches the rope of the oppressor, but when he seizes them, even the angels tremble. Power and piety cannot coexist with injustice. In the end, oppression destroys the oppressor. Let his story serve as a warning. No matter how powerful one becomes, justice from Allah is inevitable. History remembers Hajjaj ibn Yusuf not for his victories or eloquence, but for his cruelty and the terrifying lesson of his death.